So let's continue with this Global Trend 2040 with key themes. Introduction, key themes. During the past year, the COVID-19 pandemic has reminded the world of its fragility and demonstrated the inherent risk of high level of interdependence. In coming years and decades, the world will face more intense and cascading global challenges, ranging from disease to climate changes to the disruption from new technologies and financial crises. Climate change, technologies, finance. These challenges will repeatedly test the resilience, adaptability of communities, states, and international systems, often exceeding the capacity of existing systems and models. This looming disequilibrium between existing and future challenges and ability of institutions and systems to respond is likely to grow and produce greater contestations at every level. In a more contested world, communities are increasingly fractured as people seek security with like-minded groups based on established and newly prominent identities. States of all types and in all regions are struggling to meet the needs, expectations of more connected, more urban, and more empowered population. And the international system is more competitive, shaping part of the challenge from rising China, and at greater risk of conflict as states and non-state actors exploit new sources of power and erode long-standing norms and institutions that provide some stability in the past decades. These dynamics are not fixed in perpetuity. However, we envision a variety of plausible scenarios for the world of 2014. From a democratic renaissance to a transformation in global cooperation spurred by shared tragedy, depending on how this dynamic interact and human choices along the way. Well, let's go through these 5 themes throughout the report. Overall thesis, global challenges. First, shared global challenges including climate change, disease, financial crisis, and technology disruptions are likely to manifest more frequently and intensely in almost every region and country. This challenge, which often lacked a direct human agent or perpetrators, will produce widespread strains on states and society as well as shocks that will be catastrophic. The ongoing COVID-19 pandemic marks the most significant singular global disruption since World War II, with health, economic, political, and security implications that will ripple for years to come. The effect of climate change and environmental degradation are likely to exacerbate food and water insecurity for poor countries, increase migration, participate in new health challenges, and contribute to biodiversity losses. Novel technologies will appear and diffuse faster and faster, disrupting jobs, industries, communities, the nature of power, and what it means to be human. Continued pressure for global migration. As of 2020, more than 270 million persons were living in a country to which they were migrated, 100 million more than in 2000. Wow. Will strain both origin and destination country to manage the flow and effects. These challenges will intersect and cascade, including in ways that are difficult to anticipate. National security will require not only defending against armies and arsenals, but also withstanding and adapting to these sheer global challenges. So that's a global challenge. The second one is fragmentation. Second, the difficulty of addressing this transitional challenge is compounded in part by increasing fragmentation within community states and international system. Paradoxically, the world has grown more connected through communications technologies, trade, and the movement of people. That very connectivity has divided and fragmented people and countries. A hyper-connected information environment, greater urbanization, city life, and interdependent economies means that most aspects of daily life, including finance, health, and housing, will be more connected all the time. The Internet of Things encompassed 10 billion devices in 2018 and is projected to reach 64 billion by 2025, and possibly many trillions by 2040, all monitored in real time. So, high schooler, job seekers, there's a demand. In turn, these connectivities will help produce new efficiencies, convenience, and advance in living standards. However, as you prepare for the future, you will also create, exacerbate, and tensions at all levels. From society divided over core values and goals to regimes that employ digital repression to control populations. As these connections deepen and spread, they are likely to grow increasingly fragmented along national, cultural, or political preferences. In addition, people are likely to gravitate to information silos of people who share similar views, reinforcing beliefs and understanding of the truth. Meanwhile, globalization is likely to endure but transform as economic and production networks shift and diversify. Altogether, these forces portend a world that is both inextricably bound by connectivity and fragmenting in different directions. The third one is disequilibrium. The scale of transnational challenge and the emerging implication of fragmentation are exceeding the capacity of existing systems and structures. Highlighting the third theme, disequilibrium, there is an increasing mismatch at all levels between challenges and needs with the system organizations to deal with them. The international system, including organizations, alliances, rules, and norms, is poorly set up to address the compounding global challenge facing population. The COVID-19 pandemic has provided a stark example of the weakness in international coordination on health crises and the mismatch between existing institutions, funding levels, and future health challenges. Within states and society, there is likely to be a persistent and growing gap between what people demand and what government and corporation can deliver. Likely to be a persistent gap. From Beirut to Bogota to Brussels, people are increasingly taking to the street to express their dissatisfaction with government's ability to meet a wide range of needs, agendas, and expectations. As a result of this disequilibriums, old orders from institutions to norm to type of governance are strained and in some cases eroding. And actors are at every levels are struggling to agree on new models for how to structure civilization. Contestation. A key consequence of greater imbalance is greater contestation within community states and international community. This encompasses rising tension, division, and competition in society, states, and international level. Many societies are increasingly divided among identity affiliation and at the risk of greater fracturing. Relationship between society and governments will be under persistent strain and the state struggle to meet rising demand from populations. As a result, politics within states are likely to grow more volatile and contentious, and no region, ideology, or governance system seems immune or to have the answer. At the international level, geopolitical environment will be more competitive, shaped by China's challenge to the United States and Western-led international system. Major powers are jockeying to establish and exploit new rules of the road. This contestations is playing out across domains from information and the media to trade and technological innovation. Finally, adaptation. Finally, adaptation will be both an imperative and a key source of advantage for all actors in this world. Climate change, for example, will force almost all states and society to adopt a warmer planet. Some measures are as expensive and simple as restoring mangrove forest or increasing rainwater storage. Others are as complex as building massive sea walls and planning for the relocation of large population. Demographic shift will also require widespread adoption. Countries with highly aged population, like China, Japan, and South Korea, as well as Europe, will face constraints on economic growth in the absence of adaptive strategy, such as automation and increased immigration. Technology will be a key avenue for gaining advantage through adaptation. For example, countries that are able to harness productivity boosts from artificial intelligence will have expanded economic opportunity that could allow governments to deliver more services, reduce national debt, finance some of the costs of an aging population, and help some emerging countries avoid the middle income trap. The benefits from technology like AI will be unevenly distributed within and between states, and more broadly, adaptation is likely to reveal and exacerbate inequality. The most effective states are likely to be those that can build societal consensus and trust toward collective action on adaptation, and harness the relative expertise, capability, and relationship of non-state actors to complement state capacity. We'll stop this section here and we'll go over the key structural forces, and those are the beef of everything in this article.